when we talk about consistent top performers, we've seen Paris who's broken out, but New York, always been good and continues to do so, even with some weird roster shuffles.
Yeah, and I'm going to be a little bit on the controversial side with my opinions of New York. I think they're 5-1.
Oh, I know you have controversial opinions about New York.
Like, whenever I look at New York's play, I'm not sure whether it's apathy or whether they're just relaxed, but it doesn't really look like they're putting it all on the field.
So we're going back to the sandbagging method, huh?
Well, it's not sandbagging anymore. They're not nearly as good as I know that they could be. And even though they're rank 1 of the standings right now, I know they got more in the tank. I don't think they're trying as hard as they could. They're not performing to their maximum potential, which is a really weird kind of thing to take at them, is that they don't have to go 100% in scrims or in officials in order to get these results. But it is kind of like, I feel like somebody who's a teacher's just like
a disappointed father.
It's like, you could do better.
You could do better. That would be a fair. I mean, the ghost of Wizard haunts them still in a way, and then you feel that disappointment emanating from you. And I don't necessarily disagree, but I do say when I look at them, the biggest issues I have always felt is it's the Sabiolbi conundrum, where like the man is your brand, and he is really good, like especially on Tracer. But then they tried to play him on Hitscan when you have like Nene on the bench, and then they tried to play Who Are You on May, who I was, if you would talk to me and like when I was ranking ZP last year, we were big decriers of like, we were big like, no, Who Are You? We do not want to see him, and especially not on May. And I felt it's the same thing when they played Sabiolbi Who Are You. They had a lot of issues, and then they swapped over to like a Nene Libero DPS lineup, and I felt that this is way stronger for them. This is far better in their current lineup. It's like, I get they want Sabiolbi there to literally and figuratively hold their players' hands on stage and keep them in game and focused, but that is just the far better DPS lineup for them right now, especially when there's a lot of May being played and a lot of just pure hit scan, I feel. And I think that's what's really hindered them, is that they haven't figured out early, maybe they have now, that roster.
Yeah, they're also, their confidence can hinder them in other ways as well. There was the interview with Jonak after one of their victories where they said that, they still think that dive is the strongest. And even though the meta went towards like the main McCree, they still thought that dive had a place in the meta, and they still wanted to play dive, and they practiced that, and they're just very set in their ways in that regard as well. So it doesn't really seem like there's much to change their mind. They probably view themselves as one of the best teams in the league, which they are, to the point where they don't look to other teams to really see what the agreed upon best compositions or strategy are. They do their own thing, which, there's benefits to playing off the book and being confident in your own strategies, but
there are downsides.
There are big definitely downsides as well.
When you stand in the face of a meta like an incoming train, you're just like, haha, I believe you cannot hurt me, and then you run over. And that's sort of where, and you would think that, when it comes to changing their mind, they'd be much better at changing their minds, because like I think their head coach now, he is like a neuroscientist, or he's like a specialist in like neurology, things like that, and that's like his big crazy like essentially gimmick, I guess, as a coach. But it doesn't seem like they're doing too much mind changing at times, though I feel like they have adapted as the season's gone on.
Maybe that's kind of the thing where they know that they can make it into the playoffs pretty easily, just doing
whatever
enough to keep themselves mentally healthy. Maybe they're putting more focus on who knows what other kind of extracurriculars you could have as a team in order to try and increase mental health and performance in and off the game.